Mga higala, kumusta? Napunta ni ang atong tulumanon Panglantaw sa Kagabhion. Sa dili pa nato sugdan mga igsoon, ato sang i-shout out ang ato ang mga likers sa ato ang episode kagabi. Si Ma'am Jovi Habilio of Kalubi Integrated School, Madam Bernadette Martinez Tanduyan of Shuttle, USA, Pastor Yung Manyon Kigangay Jr., Christopher Ramos Labaho, Ginalyn J. Martinez, Charing Charing, and Verland Alcacid. Kayong salamat sa inyong pag-support ani atong programa Panglantaw sa Kagabhion. This evening, mga igsoon, or kaganihang kadumdum ko kaganihang buntag diri sa atong lugar sa Buanga del Sur, diri sa San Miguel, wala man gid ta makabati og gamay linog. Wala gid ganiha. Pero this morning in Davao Oriental, suddenly the ground began to tremble. Walls shook, lights flickered, and for a brief moment, everything we thought was strong began to break. People screamed, some ran, others prayed. The earth moved, and in that trembling, the truth was revealed that no man, no power, and no position stands firm forever. The quake came as a warning and a whisper at once, a reminder from above that life can change in seconds. And in that shaking, perhaps, God was asking, who among you truly reigns? Who among you holds the earth in his hands? Mga igsoon, the earthquake that struck Davao Oriental was not just a movement of the ground. It was a movement of the soul, because when the earth shakes, it is not only the soil that breaks, but also our pride, our illusion of control, and our false sense of power. Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 10 says, but the Lord is the true God. He is the living God and the everlasting King. At his wrath, the earth shall tremble, and the nation shall not be able to endure his indignation. When God allows the ground to move, it is not without reason. He shakes the world to wake up those who have become deaf to his call. He shakes power so that those who rely too much on it may remember that only God is unshakable. In these times, we see many who treat politicians as if they were gods. Some would fight, curse, and destroy friendships just to defend the name of their idols. Some cannot even admit when their chosen leaders are wrong. Bisan sayop, basta idol, sakto gihapon. That, my brothers and sisters, is not loyalty. That is blindness. God command or God's command is clear in Exodus chapter 20 verse 3. You shall have no other gods before me. When we start worshiping men instead of the Creator, when we place our trust in politicians more than in principles, we commit a spiritual crime, the idolatry of power. And sometimes it takes an earthquake to remind us of that truth. Because when the earth trembles, even kings bow, and even the proud fall silent. No human, no administration, no dynasty can stand against the shaking of God. The Bible does not lie. The Lord is the living God, and at His anger, the earth trembles. So maybe the quake that hit Davao was not just a movement of tectonic plates, but a divine message, a call of humility. Under the 1987 Philippine Constitution, it is written that public office is a public trust. Public officials must serve with integrity, accountability, and loyalty to the people. But when power becomes self-serving, and when citizens continue to cheer for wrongdoing because of blind devotion, corruption thrives. The law loses its strength when people refuse to stand for truth. Mga igsoon, corruption survives not only because of the corrupt, but also because of the silence of those who tolerate it. When the ground trembles, God is saying, look around you. Everything you built on pride and idolatry can fall. And yet, what is built on faith, on truth, and on humility will stand. Many who watched the hearing in Congress these past days may have seen arrogance, performance, and deception. Their actions spoke louder than their words. For those who watched with an open mind, the truth was clear. There are voices that are scripted and testimonies that are rehearsed, but the truth does not need a script. The truth stands even in silence. In the same way, when an earthquake happens, no man can fake the power of God. No leader can stop it. No government can control it. In that moment, all are equal. The rich and the poor, the ruler and the servant, the believer and the mocker. Psalm chapter 46 verse 1 to 3 tells us, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way. And that is what we must hold on. not the promises of politicians, but the promise of God. This earthquake is not punishment. It is a wake-up call, a warning to those who have placed their faith in power instead of righteousness. Remember that nation's strength is not found in its leaders, but in the moral and spiritual foundation of its people. We see the fault lines of politics spreading across our country, not just in the earth, but in our hearts. Filipinos are divided not by region or tribe, but by loyalty to names. We see families turn apart, friendships destroyed, and trust twisted, all in the name of politics. But an idolized leader becomes dangerous not because of his power, but because of the blindness of his followers. Kung buta ang katawhan, bisan unsay dalan ilang sundon. And when that happens, a nation loses its moral compass. That is why God shakes us, not to destroy, but to awaken. To remind us that the true foundation of leadership is wisdom, humility, and compassion. Without this virtuous, leadership turns into control. Service becomes self-interest, and people lose faith in those who should guide them. Matthew chapter 23 verse 12 reminds us, whoever exalts himself will be humbled, and whoever humbles himself will be exalted. And so, maybe the shaking is God's way of humbling a nation that has become too proud of its politics and too silent about its sins. The quake did not choose who to shake. It moved everything and everyone, reminding us that all are equal before God. In times like this, let us not run to our idols for protection. Let us run to the one who made the earth that trembles. Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 10 resounds again. The Lord is the true God, the living God, and the everlasting King. At his wrath the earth shall tremble. If that verse does not awaken us, what will? If the shaking of the earth cannot open our eyes, what else must fall before we understand? Mga igsoon, the earthquake is a sermon without words. It tells us, return to God. Stop worshiping men. Seek truth. Fear God, not power. Because when God shakes the ground, He's not showing His anger. He is showing His mercy. He is reminding us that there is still time to repent, to reflect, and to rebuild, not just buildings, but hearts. The vow will rise again, just as it always has. But let it not just rise in structure. Let it rise in spirit. Let this be a moment of awakening, a call to rebuild our integrity as a people. For when the earth shakes, God is saying, everything built on pride will fall. Only what is built on truth will remain. So we say tonight, the Lord is the true God, the living God, the everlasting King. Ang yuta mangurog, pero ang tinuod nga pagtuo dili mahugno. Ang politika mo labay, apan ang Ginoo magpabilin hangtod sa kanturan. This is Panglantaw sa Kagabhion, where truth shakes the ground and faith steadies the soul. Ang Panglantaw sa Kagabhion, diin ang kahayag nagadanad, bisan pa sa kangit-ngit. Kini inyong higala, alagad ug igsoon, Jeremias Labaho Tubigon. Sama ka sa pamuingon, nga sa atong pagpangandoy ug matarong nga katilingban, ang kamatuoran gayud ang atong suga, ug sa kangit-ngit sa kasaysayan, ang tinud-anay nga pamunuan, ang labing hayag nga paglaom. Daghang kayong salamat sa inyong pagtanaw. Shout out in 9 kilo. May gabi kanimo diha, ma'am. Sa ganito si 9 kilo si Ma'am Kilo. Kalimot ko sa ihang ngalan. Maestra ni sa Mid-Salip, sa Buanga del Sur, sa una, retired na. May gabi kanimo diha, Ma'am Insing Kilo, 9 kilo. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagtanaw o pagpaminaw. Ug ang Dios magapanalangin kanatong tanan. Mayong gabi. Sana man hindi man